It's time for Go Big Blue with Blue Eagle head football coach Andrew Williams and your host David Jennings. Join us for a recap of last week's game and a preview of this week's matchup as we bring you the latest on Blue Eagle football every Thursday at 8 p.m. throughout the season. We encourage you to comment and take part of the show and show your support for the Blue Eagles. And now, Go Big Blue!
Good evening and welcome to another airing of Go Big Blue. I am David Jennings and I'll be your host throughout the 2017 football season as we take a behind-the-scenes, in-depth look at the WSN football team. Joining me as always each week, head football coach Andrew Williams. Coach, good to be back with you again this week.
Glad to have us on again.
We appreciate still working out the Coach, you're going to find out real quick. I have a couple of bugs I have to get worked out almost each and every week, but we'll get this thing. We'll get it dialed in.
Oh, yeah.
Want to take a couple of minutes to thank all those that take care of us. Want to start with this show's executive producer, Ken James. Ken James with Bossman Productions. He's the one that gets us out sounding just right, and of course does the best we can with our pictures on camera. But we appreciate Ken and all he does, and also want to recognize our sponsors. Without their support, this program would not be possible each and every week. So we're going to take a couple of opportunities throughout the show to recognize those businesses and individuals who have supported WSN football. I want to start with Northside Tire and Garage. That's Wesley Finley, Bruton Mill Federal Credit Union, Linda Williamson, James Furniture, Jesse Rigby, the City of East Bruton, Mayor Terry Clark, Holmes Pest Control, JoJo Holmes, Encore Rehabilitation. He gives us Antonio Davis, who takes care of all of our student athletes here at WSN. Tommy Thompson Trucking, Lucas Tire and Welding with Terry Lucas, Weaver's there on the boardwalk, Andrew Clark and his wife Jenny, the owners there, Camp 31 Barbecue, Larry Murphy, Horton's Insurance, Keith Horton, Earl and the girls, Trustmark Bank, Williams Memorial Chapel, Mike and Michael Williams, United Bank, Lauren Yoder, our point of contact there, LA Party Rentals, Dwayne and Amber Graves, South Alabama Kubota Rental, there in Monroeville. Okay. Outside the area, Mike Sheffield getting on board and supporting the Blue Eagles. We appreciate that, Mike. David's Catfish, Josh Godwin, Timberline Homes, Winston Lindsay, and Nelson Professional Carpet Cleaning, Mobile Detailing, and Pressure Washing, Ray Nelson. So our list grew by a couple this week, Coach. 19 businesses and individuals in all who have chosen to get on board. And I'm going to tell you, that has been humbling to us to see that much support come out in such a short period of time. And I know I speak for you in appreciating all those people stepping up to the plate, supporting WSN football.
We do, man. We're just blessed to have the people in support, of this program. And thanks to Ken again for making this happen and making this possible. And just so many people out there we can thank to, that's played a role in getting this show off the ground and getting it growing,
We, once again, are glad to be here tonight, and we appreciate those of you that are in with us as we speak. We would encourage you to like the Bossman Productions Facebook page, share the video, share your comments. We'd appreciate anything that you want to say. If you want to send out a thank you to our many sponsors. I know they would appreciate that. If you have a chance to trade with them on a daily basis, I would encourage you to do so. And if you see them out and about around town, certainly shake their hands and pat them on the back, because without that support, we wouldn't be able to bring it here each and every week. And they're the ones that make it go around. So thank you to all the sponsors. And we'll probably take a minute or two a little later in the program and wish them thanks again. Yeah. Coach, let's take a few minutes and hit the rewind button, talk a little bit about opening night with Tallahassee, a disappointing ending, but it's always good to kind of get some tape out there, kind of find out the things that were done well, some things that might need some improvement. Your overall assessment of opening night with the Tallahassee Tigers?
Well, at the end of the day, we our kids fought, and that's what it's about. We talked about some intangibles that we had to have to go our way last week, actually, beforehand, and we knew we wasn't playing a slouch football team. They got a great football program there up in Tallahassee, some great coaches with Mike Battles, and everywhere he's been successful because he puts a product on the field, and they play fast, and they play physical, and they play the game like it ought to be played, I was real proud of our guys for fighting to the end. But those things that we talked about as far as taking care of the football, we were negative in that aspect of the game. With the one turnover we had, but we think we laid on the ground 2 other times. And basically not giving up the big play. We gave up a couple of runs that were over 20 yards and, with some alignment issues and all that kind of stuff. So, but again, our kids fought. We want to try to get to where we can stay in character late in the game, try to help ourselves. But, I was proud of the effort. But again, I thought we had some opportunities that we missed throughout the course of the game. And we were swinging to try to knock them out early and stay in position to give ourselves a chance down the stretch. But, again, didn't go in our favor in that perspective. So, we just got to keep working. And like I said, I'm still trying to get a feel for this team and see who's going to be leaders. We need leaders to step up during the course of those games when we feel like we were in position to. We were up 7 and we had stopped them and was driving there. We got to take control of the game as a whole and take advantage of the opportunities that we have. And again, I'm proud of our guys for their efforts, but we got to come back and go to work. We got to pick our business up and find a way to not make the same mistakes that we made last week for us, taking care of the ball and being sound defensively on a consistent basis, as well as a special team game. I thought our specialty game was great last week. I thought we pretty much won that battle, or we maintained that battle. And, we just got to play big in all 3 phases of the game and play on a high level the entire time. I thought we had a little lower there in the third quarter when we was tied up 7-7, coming out from the third quarter, and we had the football and we had the opportunity to take it down and drive, and we just like I said, we just didn't maintain. We didn't be able to weather the storm and take advantage of our opportunities through the course of it. But again, that's something we got to build on and learn from. Our leaders and our guys are supposed to be leaders for us. They got to step up and take the initiative in the course of a game and kind of go from there.
Coach, one of the great things about this, the way this program is put out on the stream, is the ability to interact with so many fans that are out there. And we appreciate Susan Rhodes just chiming in, mentioned that our young team, the middle school team, won down in Atmore tonight, 18-14. Happy to pass that news along, and congratulations to the young guys. I know that you like to see them go on the road and get in a win in a tough place. It's usually it's a tough place to play. It has been in the past, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the junior high program and the B team and how important that is to the varsity program. But thank you, Susan, for sharing that. And once again, we encourage all the interaction that we can get. This will turn into a family reunion if you'll let it. A good time to see some names you hadn't seen in a while and hear from some folks. So we appreciate each of you who are in with us once again tonight, and encourage you to interact with us throughout the show. Coach, you were here last week and you talked about some of the keys that you thought to victory would be to take care of the football, and you talked about having the negative there down in the red zone, and any of us that are in the competitive arena, they're keeping score, and you want to go out and try to get that thing done at the end. But I've oftentimes thought some of the best learning points come when you're faced with adversity, if things don't go your way, and you can kind of pinpoint some things that when opportunities are there, how important it is to take advantage of those opportunities. And you talked about the quality opponent that you had in Tallahassee, and anybody who understands the landscape of high school football understands that's a good football team to open up with. Coach Battles has been doing it for a long time. He's been doing it right for a long time. The Baines kid is a good competitor. I know of him, and I guess my question is, this week in practice, were you able to get that point home and see, and did the guys see on film that, if we do this, if we clean this up a little bit more, maybe the outcome changes the next time we're in that position? Did you see some of that taking place this week?
We did. We broke the film down as a group and watched it as a team, and our kids were pretty, they was pretty, understanding of what we were selling to them and the opportunities that we had. We saw it, we shot it to them and they saw it, and we went over with them as a staff. And I think they understand we got to take advantage of our opportunities and kind of go from there. Again, I was proud of their efforts for the most part. It's a learning curve that we got to figure it out. We got to figure out how to know how to win when the chips are down in a game of that magnitude. I thought we played. I didn't think we were, tensed up or nothing about the course of the game. I thought we played for the most part, but, it comes a point where you got to learn how to win and how to get it done in those atmospheres. And a lot of those things happen in the off season when you put test kids in off season and put them in those positions in other ways, within your conditioning weight program, and you find out, and allow them an opportunity to have to grow up in that arena. And again, those are things that we got to do, and we got to do it fast, because it don't get no easier for for us here on out. So again, I was proud of our guys for their efforts, and I thought our coaching staff did a great job of getting a good plan together that we had to put out there. And I thought our kids pretty much executed for the most part, but we just got to be more consistent executing our plans and doing the little things that it takes to be successful, through the course of it. But again, a lot of times after a loss like that, you ready to hurry up and get back to playing on a hurry. You're trying to hurry up for Friday to get here so you can come back and show yourself approved, for the most part. But we just got to keep working, and like I said, we want to try to get those things that we made mistakes on and correct those things. But at the same time, we got to come back and we got to stay hungry to get it done, to know how to finish a game, and that's where we're at right now. That's what we've been talking to our kids about right now. So we'll be anxious to see how we respond this week.
Coach, speak a little bit. Your first night out as the head football coach here at WSN in a regular season game, and we've talked about all the sponsors that have been supportive of this program, and to go out there on opening night and see a crowd full of home folks there cheering for the team. Talk about how that made you feel, seeing a good crowd there for the opener, and I can assure you, I've followed this team for a long time. It doesn't really matter what the score says on the scoreboard. They're going to turn out and they're going to support the football team. Talk a little bit about the importance of that and how nice it was to see the crowd full of Blue Eagles.
Yeah, like we said last week, I think it's important for our young men to see those stands full and in support of those, of them on the field and the support of our programs as a whole. We want to get the parents out, the community out, and people out to support us. And, it pays dividends to those kids to see those stands packed and those people out there cheering them on and supporting them, not only when things are going well, but in adverse times as well. So, I just know how big it plays for the kids. That's the main thing. And, I know that they're in support of our programs as a whole. That's why we're going to try to work the best we can do to make sure we're doing it the right way, first of all, and then putting a good product out there to get the job done, to give us an opportunity to be successful. But I want to thank our fans for it. I thought they did a great job in the stands and getting in the game and getting into the game during the course of it, and keeping our kids. I think I've had more congratulates to the way we done things and the way we battled more so than anything. But, at the end of the day, we're trying to get that W, at the end of the day. And if we do things the right way and we give ourselves an opportunity to do that,
Very good. Let's now move forward. Tomorrow night's opponent, jump into region play, the Thomasville Tigers. Once again, folks that understand the landscape of high school football, their tradition-rich football team. You were over there in the region for many years. You're well aware of the endeavor you're in taking on tomorrow night over there. Talk a little bit about some of the things you're looking for in terms of improvement from week 1 to week 2. Talk a little bit about the week's practice the Blue Eagles have had and where we think we are mentally heading into the game tomorrow night.
Well, the main thing is, the Thomasville Tigers, you're talking about a team that's got major tradition. They've been in the state championship game a couple times and won a state championship as well. And, you're talking about a program that knows how to win. They've been successful over there for a long period of time, ever since I can remember starting out coaching, 15, 16 years ago. You just got a great program over there that do things the right way. So, we know we got a hands full going in over there. And, the battle with Thomasville, this seemed like, to me, here in the last few years, just outside looking in and looking at film, and it's becoming a pretty good little battle with Thomasville, with WSN and Thomasville. It's been some great games over the last 4 or 5 years with them, and I look forward to that opportunity. I think our kids know that what kind of game we're finna walk up into. It's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a game that's going to be who can handle the big play, and who can recover from the big play, and who can be even killed the best. And I mean, that's, this Thomasville team, Jack Hankins team, they've always been competitive and compete, so, we know our hands going to be full. They do a great job executing what they're doing, on both sides of the ball, and as well as the specialty game. There are no slouch to that. I mean, they've been successful. They've been winning big games around here. I can remember playing them in the Fall Jamboree last year, and, they turned right around from there. And after played Neal, they were down and they fought back and won this game last year. So they know, they've been on a battle. They know we're going to fight over here. But then they turned right around and end up going 8-1, I think, in the season, and having a chance to tie in the region. So this is a region game, and we know it's the next game. Not only we know it's the big game because it's the next game, but the main thing is it's got implications for right now and for later for us to play also. We got to make sure we establish ourselves there, and we don't want to put ourselves in a hole. So our kids have responded well. They understand what we got going for us, playoff implications right now and later. But main thing, our goals are in front of us. So everybody is 0-0 in this region. So we want to make sure we jock for position in this region play. And it starts right now, with Thomasville this week. So we look forward to the challenge that they have. And, we know we're going to be in a battle having to travel over there. But, I'm anxious to see, this is probably a question for down the road, but I'm anxious to see how we handle the travel, how we handle the atmosphere on the road. That's what I'm anxious to see how we're going to handle it. And I told our kids that this week, handle the elements of the travel. And, from what I can tell, it seems like we are a team that can handle the travel part of it. Mm-hmm. So, and we play well on the road. So we can't wait to see what's going to happen on tomorrow,
You and I have talked about it many times about mental preparation and where you're at mentally when you get into a competitive environment. And I think the further I get away from it as a player and some of the coaching I've done on the rec level, I've convinced myself that I think it's 100% mental. I think exactly. I think you can kind of, throw it out there that you assume your opponent has probably practiced as much as you. You can assume that your opponent's going to be well coached, especially an opponent like Thomasville. You can assume that your opponent has lifted the weights that you have. Where can you go mentally, and how can you handle the different ups and downs that are going to come in the course of the game? If you sit there and I say this all the time, you don't have to wonder about if you're going to get a tough call. You're going to get a tough call.
Exactly.
In Thomasville, you may get more than one. But when you get that tough call, how are you going to react when that happens? Because if you let it affect you for a play, exactly. that play could have a big impact on how that game turns out. Exactly. Just like if something goes your way and all of a sudden you get that comfortable feeling and you let your guard down, that could be the play. Exactly. So talk a little bit your thoughts on mental preparation and how important that is to the finished product and ultimately being successful.
Well, I agree with you. I think that preparation comes from preparation in everyday living. It's just not something that comes in with the athletic event or football for the most part. It just comes with, that kid's mental capacity from day one and their leaders. If they're a leader and they know how to prep and prepare for something and be business-like, know when business is in play, you can separate the two, then they'll be fine if they know how to separate business and play. And that comes from your leaders. That comes from your preparation as a coach, what you do every day, which, like you said before, Thomasville will be prepared and Jack will have that team prepared on a consistent basis week in and week out, but we got to be prepared the same way. But not only that, we've got to do the little things on a consistent basis. The team that do the little things the best, that's the team that's going to be successful down the road. And again, we just got to know how to prep and do those little things consistently. And we just not getting to that. I think they're learning how I do things and how I prep with, I want them to be comfortable in their own skin preparing for a game. But at the end of the day, they got to do it the right way, and whatever the right way is. When we played, it was a little different. And I can remember sitting in the locker room and you didn't say a whole lot during before a game. It wasn't a whole lot said. Nowadays, you got kids with headphones on, and you can hear music all over the place, and they're walking around. I still got a little old schoolers in me, so I'm like, hold it down, and let's make sure we prepping. But kids prep different these days. They seeing it on all different levels, on the college level, on the on the NFL level, whatever. So it's trickling down, so you have to allow them to prep the way they prep, but at the same time, do it in a way where they understand, and they know what you mean by toning it down and prepping yourself mentally.
So you're telling me if back in the day, if you'd have come over to the sidelines and taken a selfie, Coach Luker wouldn't have responded very well to that?
And Coach Atkins, Coach Luker, and no other coach I had probably.
Yeah.
But, it's a little different these days. You got the media is involved in social media and the cell phones. Man, it changed the whole game of this game a whole lot, But at the end of the day, it comes back down to the little things that we do, on a consistent basis. And we try to keep that in perspective so we won't lose this great game that we're playing. But, yes, our preparation is important. I believe in that. I believe, like I say, you just have different type teams. You have some teams where some people just prep different than others. And some kids going to be more relaxed. They're going to play one way or another. Some kids going to be quiet and they might be throwing up. I can remember, I know Stacy, Drew's dad, he used to tell me he throw up all the time for a game. That's just, some kids prep different, so we just, you have to let them be themselves these days because of what they see and what they deal with. But at the same time, you have to set your tone of what you expect, your expectations are, and make sure they're focused and be the same way week in and week out,
Coach, for the Blue Eagle fans that'll be traveling over tomorrow and for those that'll be listening on the radio, just real quick, Thomasville offensively, how will they try to attack the Blue Eagles? Are they a pass-heavy team? Do they like to try to find a mix? Are they spread? What can Blue Eagle fans expect to see there tomorrow night?
Well, they're a spread team. You know, Thomasville's been traditionally in that wing tee for a long time, and they've gotten out of that here the last 3 or 4 years and been in that Auburn, hurry-up offense, so to speak, at times, and spread you all over the place. And we expect to see that. They want to run the football out of that stuff, just like the Auburn Tigers would want to do, and that stuff they're doing. And they got some great receivers. They're going to be spreading it out. They got a great quarterback in the Thibodeau kid, and he throws a good ball out there. He's a baseball type guy. We keep seeing these kind of guys, and he can throw a good ball out there. And those receivers, you throw it out there, they'll make you miss. They will be spread. We talked about Tallahassee last week. They had been spreading it out and throwing it all over the place and getting in the box and everything. But last week, it wasn't a whole lot of spreading going on. They lined up and did what they thought was best for them. And I don't expect to see Thomasville do that. I expect to see them spread it out and throw it all over the place and get it out there to those good receivers they have, and get the ball to that number 10 that's at the running back for them, and try to establish something, to help themselves.
Well, playing off that and talk about the challenges, of coaching a high school team. And in week 1, you've got a team that's running Notre Dame box 95% of the time. In week 2, you got a spread team, a full-blown spread team, and you have the limitations on practice days and time you have out on the field with the kids. That's a pretty good challenge to get guys ready for that set and another set.
Then it goes back to what we talked about before. They give you all that time during the summer to prepare. Sure. I mean, hey, that's really not an excuse not to be prepped to be able to prepare during the course of the week, because a lot of this stuff, if you didn't utilize the summer like you needed to, you done already been able in position to see this stuff. We're just coming back, brushing it up and polishing what we've already done. So this stuff we're seeing, we've already seen it during the course of the summer, and we already know what we're going to do. So, we'll tweak something here and there, but, that's what the benefit of having that opportunity to go during the summer and do all that work, during the summer, because we've already prepped to see what we're going to see.
And you guys also participated in a couple of 7-on-7 camps during the summer, had some success in those, winning one up in North Alabama. Just getting to see the different routes and the route trees that are run, does that help also as you get ready to play on a punt like this?
Without a doubt. That's what it's for. I would be scared to know, like I said again, to know if we didn't do that stuff at this point, in life. So, yes, we what we're going to see, man, you can't – a lot of times when you're seeing different teams, you got different talent athletes and different personnel and different stuff that they're running. So you have to, some of it kind of – it's a little different, but mainly it's the same stuff, we've seen this stuff before. We prepared for this stuff before. So, our kids should know what's going on and what we're looking for. And I think we've had a great week of practice in preparation for it. So we just got to go out and execute, man, and have a good time, play the game, have a great time playing the game and play, give it 110% the entire time, each and every snap. And, we'll see what happens.
Real quickly, we just covered the offense for Thomasville and how they're going to attempt to attack tomorrow night. Defensively, are they an even man front, odd man front, or are they multiple in what they try to do?
I think they're multiple, but I have no idea how they're going to really line up. I mean, we've worked on some stuff that they're going to line up in, that they've sort of shown over the time. I've had some dealings with them last year and the year before that and some years back, and he's sort of staying in the same family, but I wouldn't be surprised if we walked up there tomorrow and they lined up totally different, because, again, we just got to do what we got to do and take care of our business up front. I know he's going to put a lot of people in the box and try to stop our running game, and which I don't blame him for doing that. Most people going to load that box and make us try to pass it or do what we got to do to hurt them, by loading the box up. But, they're going to play fast and physical on defense. That's just the kind of teams they always have. And, with Jack being a defensive coordinator from the past, like I said, he's gonna put the people in the box and try to stop our running game for the most part, and try to get those guys to playing lights out over there, on defense.
Very good. We're going to take a short break. Make sure you stay with us. A lot of Go Big Blue to come. Going to have one of the new additions to the WSN football coach joining us here after the break. So make sure you stay with us. Share the video as many times you feel led to. We've enjoyed seeing all the comments and the well wishes that have come in the first part of the show. We encourage you to do that as well. So we're going to take a short break, get the table set up one more time for another guest, and we'll be back in just a moment. And we are back with Go Big Blue. Want to quickly once again recognize the sponsors that make this program happen each and every week. Had 5 new sponsors come on board from last week's show. Excited about that, and there's still room for more. This week's sponsors: Northside Tire and Garage, Wesley Finley, Bruton Mill Federal Credit Union, Linda Williamson, James Furniture, Jesse Rigby, the City of East Bruton, Mayor Terry Clark and the City Council, Holmes Pest Control, JoJo Holmes, Encore Rehabilitation, Antonio Davis, our trainer that takes care of all of our student athletes, Tommy Thompson Trucking. Thank you, Tommy. Lucas Tire and Welding, Terry Lucas. Weavers there on the boardwalk with Andrew Clark and his wife, Jenny. Camp 31 Barbecue, Larry Murphy. Horton's Insurance, Keith Earl and the girls. Thank you, Horton family. Trustmark Bank, Williams Memorial Chapel, Mike and Michael Williams. United Bank, Lauren Yoder. LA Party Rentals, Dwayne and Amber Graves. South Alabama Kubota Rental there in Monroeville, Mike Sheffield. David's Catfish with Josh Godwin, Timberline Homes, Winston Lindsay, and Nelson Professional Carpet Cleaning, Mobile Detailing, and Pressure Washing, Ray Nelson. Thank you to each of the sponsors for making this program possible. If you get an opportunity to get out and trade with these folks, we would encourage you to do so. If you see them out and around town, certainly shake their hands and pat them on the back, because we appreciate everything they do for us here. Coach Williams, we have one of your assistant coaches, defensive coordinator, on the set with us. I'll defer to you and let you formally introduce him, and we'll kind of get to visit with him for just a moment or two.
All right. I want to see how many words he's going to say tonight. He don't talk a whole lot, but
we'll get some out of it.
Well, Drew is one that man, you knew he was a guy that you wanted to be a part of your program. As a player, he was one of those guys that was a great leader. I had the opportunity to coach him there in Sweetwater, and he's one of those guys that had that it factor. He was just a great leader and believed in what he did, and you want that kind of guy around you that can help be around these kids and lead these kids. A great guy, come from a background of great coaches and great guys. So again, we were tickled to have the opportunity to have a chance to get him in here with us in this WSN family with us. And, man, he don't need no introduction. Stacy Lucas is daddy. So again, we just blessed to have him here. And he's done a great job of working with our defensive guys and helping us out wherever he can, and just keeping those guys motivated. He's been around a good program, been in Demopolis, and helping there, and he's just doing a great job for us. And we were tickled, like I said, we're tickled to have him. And like I said, he don't need an introduction for himself, so I'll let him say what he needs to say himself.
Coach Luker, appreciate you joining us here at Go Big Blue, and of course, welcome to East Bruton and WSN High School. This your first year as well, also. Yep. And as Coach Williams pointed out, you're from one of the great coaching families in Alabama. Your dad, of course, has done some amazing things at Sweetwater, now at Clark County, putting that thing together over there. But your own merits speak for themselves. You were quickly, if haven't already, gotten out of the shadow of Coach Stacy Luker, and I think WSN is very lucky to have you here. And I just want to talk a little bit about your first impression being here. Your first game, of course, was last Friday. Talk about the atmosphere, talk about the guys, talk about the community. And when you talk about the community, once again, I know it well, when you see this number of people line up to be supportive, that's how you can put a program together. You have to have those resources. You have to have the people that are willing to step up and help. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you having me on the show tonight. But I've been excited, since we moved in. We moved in here in May. Right after school ended, couldn't wait to get here and get to work, and start working with these kids. I talked to somebody early on when I first got here about, having the opportunity to work with newer kids that I've never met before, just, and trying to touch other lives than the ones that I've been touching for the last 5 years. But that part really excites me. And then just, being able to work with Coach Williams, he talked about, I played for him for a couple of years at Sweetwater, and he was the defensive coordinator there when I was playing. And he hadn't changed a bit. He still is fiery and gets after it just like he did with us. But no, it's a lot of fun coaching with him, and it's been exciting for me and my family. We love it here. We love the people, and we have seen how the community really gets involved, and there's a lot of help and a lot of people that go into making this program go. And you appreciate when you see things like that in a football program, because not a lot of football programs get that kind of help and support. So
I got to ask this question, here with two Sweetwater guys. Do y'all start playing tackle football at the age of 2? I mean, if you're from Sweetwater, I can tell you this: you're going to have a hard head. And there's going to be no quit in you, no backup at all. But it's, I guess that's, you guys are taught that at an early age over there. You've obviously brought it here, and I can tell you down through the years, there's been some hard-hitting WSN folks too. So you inherited some good DNA here, some good guys to work with. And I know the community and the schools looking forward to you guys putting your stamp on it. And Coach, I want you to get to speak to this a little bit. And talking to Coach Williams, a lot of his coaching philosophies have been on the total person, not just a football player. That's obviously, right. You guys are paid to teach here and to coach here, and winning at some point will be expected, and it'll happen. But if you focus on the person, I think you stand a greater chance of getting what that young man or young lady has to offer. That's right. If you let them know that you care about how their lives turn out, care about molding them and teaching them, and I guess I'm curious to hear your thoughts on those philosophies as well. Yeah,
I agree with that. I've always thought about in this line of work, it's about building these young men, building these young boys and trying to turn them into young men in the best way that you can and that you know how, and you can pull in a lot of different I guess tactics and ways to do that, but making sure they know that you care for them as a person, and that you're there for them, and that you love them. And as much as you can, I think it's important to try to tell them that you love them, and try to, make sure they know that you care for them. And that way, I think it turns around on the field, at practice and on the games on Friday nights. They'll play hard for you, if they know that. So,
Coach, you and I spoke about this many times, and we talked about it a little bit last week. I think we're of the same opinion. You can certainly coach a young man up. You can get in his ear and try to motivate him, but I think you can only coach him as hard as you love him. If it's one without the other, especially with today's young people, it's going to be hard to get a positive response. And I know that you like hearing that from your staff members, and know that it's getting it across the board. You're obviously not in every drill. You're not with every player all the time, but to know the message is consistent, I'm assuming is very encouraging and makes you feel good when you turn these guys loose to their position coaches. Without a doubt,
one thing for sure, you ain't gonna fool the kid, especially in this day and time. And they know if you care, they know if you, if you're sincere about what you're doing, and your belief of what you're selling to them. You can't fool them. So if you're gonna sell it and you're gonna do it the right way, and try to get your point across to that kid, you got to show some kind of love, affection for them, so they can know. So. Again, I know our coaches do a great job. We're going to continue to get better as we go. As a group, I think it's a group that we really like together. That's very, very likable. And we got different intangibles. So if we put all of it together, we'll get the whole deal. You'll reach every kind of kid that we got. We know we got different attitudes, different type of kids out there. So we got different coaches that's like that as well. So we want to try to reach them all. Every coach coach the way they need to coach, but at the end of the day, we all trying to work to get the same thing out of them.
And I think it's also important to note you have a tremendous coaching staff from top to bottom. We got Coach Luker out this week. He's new in town. Thought we'd get him exposed to the WSN fan base a little more. We'll have other coaches on in weeks to come, and look forward to visit them as well. Coach Luker, going into the game tomorrow night, what's a couple of things you're looking forward to seeing that you're hoping to see in terms of improvement from week 1 to week 2, whether it's offense or defense or special teams? What's a couple of things you're looking forward to watching tomorrow night?
Well, Coach Williams talked, a little while ago about, the defense from last week. And I think, there was a couple times where we kind of got out of place, out of position a little bit, and that kind of hurt us at times, and gave up some of those big plays that Coach Williams was talking about. So I think the main thing, and not to take away from how hard our kids played, they played really hard, and we like the effort that they gave, but it's just one of those things that you want to see them going into tomorrow night. You want to see them carry over and try to fix those mistakes that we harped on all week, that we talked about when we watched film with them early in the week and just throughout the week. So you want to see them fix those mistakes tomorrow night in the game. And, Thomasville, they're going to do a little bit different, some things a little bit different than what Tallahassee did. But, it's all about, at the end of the day, playing defense. Defensively, you just got to be fast and you got to be physical. And Coach preaches that all the time, and we try to say it all the time to the kids, trying to harp on it and make sure we beat it into their brains so that they'll eventually get it. And I think they are, at times, but it's a thing where, we just got to keep doing it so that they will be consistent with it. But, I think that's the main thing, is as long as they just keep playing hard and are physical, then, the other things will come eventually, if we keep working it. But yeah, just, a few mistakes that we made last week. We just got to make sure we don't make the same ones. We just got to be in place position-wise. We got to be in place and make good plays and not give up the big ones.
Talking and knowing your background and where you're rooted and where you come from and some of the philosophies that you're trying to put into place here. And, of course, you want your defense to be physical.
That's right.
Do you feel like last week, even though assignment-wise it may not have been perfect, did the kids show up and try to go hat on hat from a physical standpoint? Did they do okay?
Yeah, I think they did for the most part. I don't think that was really, a problem. Going into Sunday, meeting with the coaching staff and meeting on Monday with the kids, watching film, I don't think that was one of the big things that we had to, really get on to them about. But, at the end of the day, you can always get better. And they can always be a little bit more physical, and they can always be a little faster getting to the ball. And that's one thing that we want to try to preach, and that we've been preaching all week, is getting to that ball on defense.
Coach Williams is going to bring you back, and, of course, it's easy to be an All-American until you get hit. And we talked about the young man at Thomasville, good quarterback. How important will it be to make him feel some pressure, maybe get to him, see how he reacts to contact? Not everybody reacts to it in a positive sense. How important do you think pressure and maybe being physical with him will be in terms of the outcome of the game tomorrow night?
I think it's going to be huge. I think that, he got a little bit of pressure last week, and he sort of, we saw him under a little bit of pressure against Sweetwater, the team that played last week. So if we can get on him a little bit, we feel like, they want to throw the ball quick anyway. But if we can put a little pressure on him, maybe he'll get a chance to throw us a nugget too. If we can get some pressure on him here and there, and we stay in position on the back end,
Coach, the hour has quickly gotten away from us. It's shocking how fast it flies by. We talked a little bit about the middle school team winning earlier tonight down in Atmore. Good win for them. And talk a little bit, because I've heard you speak about this in the past, of how invested you are in the developmental programs, the middle school kids, the B team, as they transition in the varsity football team. Talk about your goal there, kind of what you're hoping to get done and get in place as these kids work through the program.
Well, we just need to be the same kind of people. When we prepping ourselves and preparing ourselves, those coaches there, those players there, they need to be worked the same way mentally, for us to know when they get in 8th grade, out of 8th grade, coming into that 9th grade year, they need to know what they're going to expect from our coaches. I want to be up under the same umbrella for the most part, and they can understand that, hey, we're going to coach them this way, and we're going to do it this way, and when we get to the high school, they're going to do it the same way. And, we don't want it to be done differently, totally differently at that level, and then get here and all of a sudden they have to adjust. We want the adjustment process to be smooth for them. They're leaving out of 8th grade. We want to play the game fast and physical on that level. Then when they get in 9th grade, they already know. That's why we want to play the game. And we're preaching the same thing to them in the same terminology and all that.
So the terminology is pretty much the base terminology is going to be the same coming up.
Exactly. That's what we want. We want to, we want to sell it to them that way so they can already know. They've heard that before. They know if we tell them they need to be reach blocking or whatever the case might be, or down block, whatever the terminology is, they're hearing the same thing on the varsity level when they get there, and they already know. So we want to just keep it up on the same umbrella and stay the same and coach them the same way for the most part.
It's also important to know on this program, each week we're going to try to shine the spotlight a little bit on summer athletic programs. You serve as athletic director here at the school, and, of course, the volleyball team's underway. They're playing games now. We talked about the junior high teams playing, and maybe during the course of the season we'll be able to get some of those kids in as well and spotlight them. One of the things that, that we want to do is create awareness for all our young people. We've got a lot of great young people in the area. A lot of times, in the national press, the negative things get a lot of exposure and out there, but there's a lot of young folks doing great things also, and that's one of the missions of this program is to get some out there, and we look forward to doing that in the weeks to come, whether it be the cheerleaders, whether it be the band members. I saw the band out practicing tonight under the lights, and they put an awful lot of work into it, and I know that you appreciate what the cheerleaders do, what the band does, the pep squad, the whole 9 yards, because it really is a village of folks that have to be pulling the rope in the same direction to have a successful program.
And everybody's got to be sold into one goal, and that's being successful in all aspects. Yes, we even want to get some of our players up here in the coming weeks or whatever, and get some of those guys in here and just hear what they got to say and see what they've been saying, and just get them involved, in all our athletic programs. We want them to be successful, and we know it takes the entire group together as a whole to show their face and support. in one way or another, and it's more ways than one to support, you know, and it's tireless hours, you know, even with our band, our cheerleaders, man, they work hard just like everybody else working, and then they have to turn around and support within everything they do. And our volleyball team, it's tough to play a season and then turn around and go support another sport during the same realm of that year, you know, of that other sporting event. So it's tough. I mean, I have to try to show up to our volleyball game, at least try to make some games, even though we're having to practice and prep for, you know, games through the course of the week. So, you know, I know it's spreading people thin, but, you know, we want to try to be in there to support them and get other people that support them, so we won't be pulling after the same people all the time. You know, they can get support from everywhere, and people come out to support our volleyball team as well as our football team and you know, all our sports as a whole, you know.
Going to bring Coach Luker back in as we wind down here at the bottom of the hour. And Coach, you know, going in tomorrow, once again, region play opens tomorrow night across the state. Everybody's goals are still in front of them. You know, tomorrow will have a direct impact on qualifying for postseason play. Right. So looking forward to that. Talking about making the trip over, what's one or two things that you're looking for in terms of you think will be keys towards the Blue Eagles getting a win tomorrow night?
Well, yeah, like you said, it's a region week, and it's the first region week. So this is probably, at this point, like Coach always preaches, you know, it's the next game. It's the biggest game. It's the next game up. So, you know, and it being week one in the region, you know, it's huge as far as starting out good, starting out fast in the region. But, you know, as far as the game goes, we just gotta make sure that we're doing everything right, scheme wise, and, you know, what we coach those kids to do throughout the week. They got to make sure they focus on that and don't veer off of it and get away from what we tell them to do. You know, if they just focus on what they've been coached to do, you know, it's all about being coachable. And if those kids can be coachable, you know, and they trust the coaches, you know, to lead them in the right direction, especially as far as scheme goes and playing on Friday nights, then, you know, they can be successful. But they got to get to that point where they do trust us to, you know, understand that sometimes we do know what we're talking about. But yeah, I just, you know, it's an important week. It's an important game for us, and we gotta come out swinging and make sure we come out on top.
Coach, any closing thoughts as we wind down the program tonight? Of course, you know, once again, getting on the road, first road trip of the year, first region game of the year, quality opponent. Not real. It'll be pretty easy to get cranked up to play Thomasville. Their program speaks for itself, and I know you're looking forward to getting over there. I'm sure the guys are. Any closing thoughts on how tomorrow's going to play out? Well,
we're just looking for a great crowd. We hopefully our people will travel over and support our young men in this game. Like I said, it's you know, it's pretty big, you know, at this point, and we know it'll be a lot of fans over there from that area that'll come back to watch, and some of Drew's folks and some of my folks and some of all those people on that end, they'll be over there. Some of my wife's folks even showing up in shirts, from what I understand. So, you know, we just look forward to the opportunity to go out and compete and put a good product on the field, and you know, let the chips fall where they may, you know.
Have you warmed up to those boiled peanuts any?
I tell you what, I'm working on them. I don't know about the boiled ones a whole lot, but I got me some roasted ones. Somebody gave me some today.
Well, I only ate about 2 pounds of them last Saturday. I love them. Yeah. Wow. So if you get a helping and don't know what to do with them, you call me.
Trust me, I ain't got that far yet. I can promise you.
Well, we want to certainly wish all the Blue Eagle fans and of course the teams and the band and the cheerleaders safe travels tomorrow. Certainly wish you all the luck in the world in the game. Look forward to y'all getting back healthy, and I look forward to doing it again next week.
Likewise. Appreciate y'all for having us, and
good luck, Coach. Coach, thank you for joining us, and good luck. And I'm going to run down the sponsors one more time. I don't think we can give them enough exposure here on the program. I've really appreciated Ken having it scrolling across the bottom. And once again, without these businesses and these individuals, the program doesn't happen. So I want to run through them one more time. Northside Tire and Garage, Wesley Finley, Bruton Mill Federal Credit Union, Linda Williamson, James Furniture with Jesse Rigby, the City of East Bruton, Mayor Terry Clark and the City Council, Holmes Pest Control, JoJo Holmes, Encore Rehabilitation, Antonio Davis, our athletic trainer, Tommy Thompson Trucking, Lucas Tire and Welding with Terry Lucas, Weaver's there on the boardwalk, Andrew and Jenny Clark, Camp 31 Barbecue, Larry Murphy, Horton's Insurance, Keith Horton, Trustmark Bank, Williams Memorial Chapel, Mike and Michael Williams, United Bank, Lauren Yoder, L.A. Party Rentals, Dwayne and Amber Graves, South Alabama Kubota Rental there in Monroeville, Alabama, Mike Sheffield, David's Catfish with Josh Godwin, Timberline Homes, Winston Lindsay, and Nelson Professional Carpet Cleaning, Mobile Detailing, and Pressure Washing, Ray Nelson. Thank you to each of you for making Go Big Blue possible each and every week. We've really appreciated those of you that have joined us tonight. It will be archived. You can go look on the Facebook page later as you see fit. We appreciate the comments. We would especially appreciate if you'd reach out to the sponsors and trade with them as you can. Certainly shake their hand. And we've appreciated all the kind comments during the stream as well. And that's going to do it for us here tonight. And once again, good luck, coaches, and look forward to seeing you next Thursday.
Thank you for having us.
That's it. This has been a Bossman production, and I hope you enjoyed Go Big Blue.
Thank you for watching Go Big Blue. Tune in each week as we keep you up to date on the Blue Eagles. Until next week, Go Big Blue.